everyone, it's so great to have you on this edition of the Moms Village Show. My name is Janet, and this time round we're talking about the business of going green and some of the creative opportunities around that as well. We're so excited to have Wariko Waita, who is an urban farmer, with us in studio, and Eve Ngenga, who was part of a very creative campaign at the Village Market that turns jeans into handbags, and who doesn't need that, right? And I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Isis.
Oh, thank you. So excited to be here today with everyone. I'm the founder of Moms Village, and I was just telling Janet that our last episode was about education, where we talked about picking kindergartens, we talked about homeschooling, and we got amazing feedback from the community across our WhatsApp communities everywhere of how helpful that was and learning about Nova Academy. So I'm really excited for this show because there's so many practical things that we'll talk about that hopefully everyone can take home and have some practical tips to take back with them after
Exactly.
the show.
Given especially if we get into sort of like the plastic ban, which went into effect recently, threw a lot of people off. There were so many conversations going on. What are we going to do? What are the alternatives? And it's great that we have you guys here. So off the bat, just your thoughts on that. Obviously, it's great for you around business, etc. But just your thoughts around the ban and even opportunities around that as well. Maybe we start with you, Wariko.
I think it's a great way forward. If you've been anywhere in Nairobi, outside of Nairobi, just on the street side, all that plastic accumulating. We hear how cows, ingest while like zebras on the roadside. So it's a good time and about time to start that. I know it's a difficult transition probably for many people, but I think once we get into the practice of it, it will be really important to, when we benchmark against Rwanda. It looks beautiful. It's green, it's lush. People clean the streets, I think every month, and one step at a time, but this is the right step in the right direction.
Yeah, and for you, this was an idea born of it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm actually very excited about it. Village Market community is very excited about it as well. And we believe that this campaign sort of paves the way for creative ideas, innovative ideas, and you don't even have to be expensive about it. Think about reducing, reusing, recycle, because they say if we weren't going to go plastic bag free, by the year 2050, we would have more plastics in the ocean than fish.
That's crazy.
So,
I know. I remember hearing that, and I've always been, raised very environmentally conscious. So it was not kind of a shock to me. I was so excited, but I was using plastic. I admit, and I tried to reuse as much as I could. But I think this shock was a good just stake in the ground that we're going to be a more conscious society around this. And I think that the harm that you guys have talked about, and I think the key thing for people to remember is that it's the carrier bags, that, and for moms, it's really about the shopping, right? Like, I think that's the stressful
part. We were just
part.
saying that the stressful part of knowing, usually you're used to going to a supermarket and having everything packed for you, but it's, okay, now I have to really figure out exactly what I'm going to get. I have to figure out what to carry with me to make sure that, I don't, I'm just well prepared as well. And I remember I even put out a post on Facebook just giving ideas around, disposal, if it's garbage disposal or in the home, and got so much engagement of people saying, I'm following because I just need solutions. So
it'd be good to hear about like solutions that you think of, especially from the shopping perspective. One thing I was thinking is, actually I have a little, surprise. So Moms Village has been very creative in their solutions. So what we loved about this bag is that if you're commuting in a matatu, etc., you can just fold. You got it, and then when you need the bag, it's bigger, right? Obviously, there's a lot of other things, kikapus, etc. So I'd love to hear what else. Others of you are.
I love that, and I think we change handbags and so on, but we change our makeup and our keys and so on. This is now an essential. We just need to have one foldable bag, because you will pick up something along the way, and I've been at the till recently and went to pay and realized I didn't have a bag. And I know most of us are going through that. So I think, again, it's practice. Just have it there and you will see how often you will use it. So that's one. And I think I've seen some beautiful bags. We start going back to the, our kyondos and things like that. Now they're fashionable again. I started looking for my old ones. I don't know where they are.
A friend in one of my WhatsApp groups from school just brought out hers from, I don't know, 20 years ago. She's like, look what I found.
Exactly. So it's just an opportunity to make a kind of fashion statement. I know some people are really struggling if it's in areas where maybe they don't have access to that kind of thing. And so maybe, and I know that's one of the things we were saying earlier, it's does it feel like the transition wasn't explained well enough Should people have had more time to understand what's going on and just more time to be prepared? I don't know whether you think that's accurate, that there wasn't enough preparedness.
No, I think there was enough preparedness in the sense that we need to now embrace the no more plastic bag rule. But then with regards to now packaging solutions and how to get rid of your waste. I mean that's also a bit of a challenge right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. And hopefully one of these days there'll be an interesting life hack about that.
And our life hack segment is growing in popularity. It's really fun. So we're going to go and go into one right now. So you guys get to see what the Mom's Village life hacks are all about. So, yeah.
Here are some great ideas. To remove dried out wax spills, blow dry the stain on high heat until the wax melts, and then remove it with a sponge. Be careful not to bring the dryer too close to your fingertips. We came across this hair dryer hack that we decided to try. We wanted to iron out the shower curtain by blowing hot air towards it while placing the dryer a few inches from the plastic. Turns out, this did not solve our problem at all. This life hack is whack. Did you know that waterproofed matchsticks still ignite? Try this by applying a coat of clear nail polish on the match head and an inch into the stick. Allow it to dry. Dip the top of the matchstick into a glass of water. Then strike the match. Voila!
I really couldn't stop laughing at the whack, the life hack.
This
whack.
life hack is whack. Who knew how much you could do with nail polish?
I know.
Sometimes you wonder. So you're cooking and your matchsticks get wet and you're able to reuse them.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely fantastic.
And I was also thinking of the blow dryer, especially because there's so much push on the natural hair movement that people probably these blow dryers like I can't do much use of this. Some good hacks about what you can do.
You're all doing pretty well in that department, guys. I think it would be really great to just hear a little bit more from you, Wariko. I know we'll be sampling your honey very soon, so we're very, very excited. But you left work to start your own business, to go into farming. What sort of inspired that decision for you?
I think you need a plan first and foremost, but I had just reached a point where I thought maybe the things can be done differently. Mm-hmm. Also being a mom, time at home, especially dropping the kids, just being there when they're doing homework, they're getting older and they were getting to teenagers, and I just thought, I think this is the time to. There's a mentor of mine who once told me, if you want to be home, really do it when your children are going through that transition. It's good when they're young, but really during that transition because they have lots of questions. So I was reflecting on that and it came too quickly, I have to say, but it was good. So I decided, what do I do? And I didn't start now. I had actually started 3 years before I actually made the transition from work, but it was not working. It was I was delegating and I was not involved, but I thought, it's automatic.
It's a side hustle.
It's a side hustle.
Moonlighting.
Yeah, moonlighting. And you're just like, how's it going? And unfortunately, for the whole period of the 3 years, I didn't harvest honey. And I was thinking, what's wrong with my bees? And and really now I know it's just, I was not going frequent enough to go to, you have to have a schedule, stick to the schedule, make sure you're going on the day every month. It does require a little bit of maintenance, but it's not, a daily thing. Don't delay by a week or 2 or 3. Do it when you say, because when they fill the hive and there's no more space, like they have a pantry, they'll drink it and then they'll refill. I didn't realize that until so I had missed several seasons and I didn't know. So 3 months into it and me going out there really understanding and really getting to know my bees one-on-one, 3 months later we harvested 100 kgs.
What?
Wow.
I was so unprepared for that. I didn't, I was like, we'll have it. So I had honey everywhere. There was so much wasted.
And just to be clear, you're an urban farmer, so this is happening in Nairobi.
Nairobi. And I think it's good because there's been so many trees being felled, of course for construction, infrastructure, etc. But now I have a reason, the few trees are there. And I'll be talking about that in the flavors that the honey bring because of the various flowering of it. That's something I've learned in the past 2 years. I didn't know that was happening. So I'm very conscious about also the trees and what is growing and how to protect them as well, because they're the ones that are giving me the fruits of the honey.
Wow, that is so interesting. First of all, already that's just probably sparked interest for a lot of people. And later, I know we'd love to hear your ideas around how people can start that. But maybe going back a little bit in theme with what we're doing, but why green? Why was a sort of green or environmentally related business important for you?
And maybe just demystify green, that's the thing. It's a catchy word, but what does it mean for you? Yeah.
For me, it's a consciousness about the environment. So I think what Eve said here, reuse, reduce, and recycle, those are important. We use things every day. How do you actually reuse them? How do you reduce consciously, I'm buying this, look at the packaging, how will I dispose of it? Make decisions at the shopping point. Because you have to think this is actually a system from one step to the other. So going green was something that I already felt was important. I had actually looked around and said, this environment, the plastics bother me, people throwing things out of the car, which, personally, I'm an advocate. I think it's also, maybe to just be clear, I went to school in Canada when I was young, and there I think they're very advanced in recycling, and it was just a system. And when I came back many years later, and just to see everything accumulated at once, I felt I was doing something wrong. So it's I think our youth, you can start with children, for us it might be difficult, but once our children start seeing we're doing this, they will follow and it won't be as difficult. So it will just come a second nature. So that's green for me, and that's going green. It's basically consciousness. You think through at every step, what am I going to do with this? How will I dispose of it? How could I reuse it? Who could, so that in itself, I think, is another way of thinking, but it's once you become used to it, it just becomes easier to do.
How do you see it growing? How do you see sort of like this business expanding? You're looking at this full time, right, for the rest of your life. This is what your passion is now.
I think it's very exciting. For me, it started with that incident. Okay, I have not had 100 kgs at one time. I think the bees were just making up. Like, finally, you're paying attention. But I've had harvest every 3 months, which is unique because now I know exactly, the cycles and what this has come, as you said, it grows. I have realized, okay, this tree flowers, then I'm planting more trees. Recently, I even did an organic farmer course just to, when there's a pesticide on the fruit trees, for example, when there's pests, and I don't want to use pesticides because it will affect the bees, actually, some of them will die. What do I do? How do I do this? So it's actually growing in a very organic way.
No pun intended, right?
So it's exciting, and I'm learning a lot.
And we want to sample.
Yes, we love to sample. What does that mean? Is there like a community of bee farmers that you're part of? Are there a lot of women in it, or I'm just curious?
No, women usually don't go into beekeeping. I think there's a myth around it and the dangers of it. And I think traditionally, we're doing traditional beekeeping. It requires, climbing trees. It requires, in most cases, like traditionally, they actually used to unclothe. Bees get stuck in fabric, so you have to unclothe and just go, in your birthday suit, basically. Oh, wow. Women doing that in public, in public, and they used to do it at night. Now they have modern hives. You can go, you still have to go in the evening when, because the bees have their hours, but a lot more women need to get in. And I'm finding it very fascinating. And then the health benefits of honey, just do your research, the propolis and things like that. There's a lot of potential there. So I'm looking forward to tasting.
Yes, let's dig in. Eve has been staring.
This is acacia honey here, and this is avocado honey. Wow. And these are two seasons. And that's the other thing I discovered. If you grab a spoon and you just, you can start with, try the acacia first, just so that you can see and you can see the color. This one's really dark. So you can start, you can taste it.
I love honey.
So thing about honey, put the spoons there. We don't like to double dip moisture into honey. I've learned all this, through trial. Then grab another spoon, and you can switch.
So this is acacia.
This is acacia, and maybe take a sip of water to just get the different taste.
Oh yeah,
I'll do that. Yeah,
I'll do the same actually.
It has a great aftertaste.
Yes, one is very, so it's the big difference. Some of them are very, this is much sweeter than that. This is very bold.
I've never done a honey tasting.
You know, really good. And I was, at first, I learned this because I was like, why is this so much darker than the other one? Why does it taste like that? So we've had liquid honey, we've had guava honey, because the trees, and right now, you know, the next season will be liquid because that's what's out there. Liquid's one of the oldest trees. It is, the health benefits are fantastic. So now I'm also looking at the health benefits, and I'm saying, what does that do for honey? Right. But I didn't know all this until I started, and it's really been trial and error. So it's exciting, and more women should really do this, and even for your own family consumption.
Right.
And also, one takeaway I have just from what you were saying is also that you don't have to be an expert. No pun intended. Be an expert to start something, but like as you get deeper into it, you actually become one.
You do. It's practice. It's practice, and you learn and finding a resource. So you know, for the one, there's a few ladies I know. We talk to each other and we support, and that in itself was helpful.
Right, Wariko, that's amazing information. I think super helpful to a lot of people who are thinking of going down that route. Let's go back to the bags, Eve. Great campaign.
Thank you.
So timely, I think, for everything that's happening in the country. Talk us through what we're seeing in this video that's coming up right now, just in terms of how the whole process is working. Yeah, here we go.
So this campaign took place in the food court, as we thought it would be a focal point for everyone and easy for you to quickly bring and then maybe decide to go grab a bite to eat. So you would bring in your jeans. Actually, we themed the place, we decorated the place with jeans. We had the ceiling dressed with jeans. So what would happen is you would bring in your jeans, we would tag your jeans. Then what would then happen, we would take down your details, and then your jeans would then be taken for stitching. So that's on site. Yes.
And that's a lot of pairs of jeans.
That's a lot of pairs
because
of jeans.
people came on board big time. So how many were you able to turn into bags?
Well, we're close to 4,000 now.
What?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
So those are customer bags now. We've hanged them, so they would come and you would probably see your bag, or you would ask for assistance. Excuse me, is my bag ready? Then we would take your ticket number, and then we would check and see if your bag is one of the bags that are hanging.
Oh my goodness.
So this is our dedicated customer service team on site, taking people's jeans or packing a customer's pair of jeans.
Wow, where was I? How did I not know? But you said you were quite a large cross section of people came, right, to do this?
Yes.
Wow.
It was such a success.
Yeah.
We were so impressed by the turnout.
Yeah, this is very painful. I have jeans. I missed that window. Is it coming again?
Yes, we are looking at extending the campaign, which we shall announce soon.
Please do. We'll be on standby, lining up. Yeah, and I know you brought a sample as well.
Yes, I did. So this is the bag, jean bag, and then actually what I forgot to mention is at the end we give it like a personal Ankara touch. And the beauty of this bag is you can put your mobile phone inside. It's big enough for your grocery shopping and your wallet and maybe your parking card and
It's just such a brilliant idea, and empowering. The fact that you're working with women from Kibera, that's also a great angle. So you're able to empower women as well. It's a business angle and business opportunity for them, and I think there's many that are doing.
Yeah, there's so many businesses. I mean, we were just reflecting about both large and small. Safaricom's doing quite a lot in terms of sustainability. Throughout different aspects of their company, including recycling phone batteries. I mean, it's pretty amazing stuff for some of the large companies, as well as some of the smaller ones like EcoPost, run by a woman entrepreneur who actually builds fence posts out of old plastic and other things that is really amazing. I'd read about her some time ago, so it's very just impressive, and it just makes me think that Eve, like, any tips for a young mom who's watching, who might have an idea, she wants to partner with a big organization, a couple of thoughts of recommendations of how she should go about doing that?
I would say, don't be shy. Walk in with your proposal in hand, ask the receptionist, can I please speak to someone, or maybe look for email addresses or try and get in touch through their social media handles or LinkedIn. A lot of companies have social media handles which nowadays are managed 24/7 between 8 and 5 p.m. So I'm sure if you said, I have this great idea, and companies are always looking to expand, invest in great ideas. So, go for it.
Yeah, especially now that they have to really think of, go green ideas. So that's like perfect opening for new ideas.
Right.
Yeah.
And the timing timing is perfect. And this is, someone can just be confident enough to come in and say, okay, let me try my luck. Okay, because a lot of people would be hesitant, I think, to do that. Yeah, and I know, of course, tips for trying to get into farming. I don't know how much we can, I know there's a lot to say, but just that one tip if someone wants to go into bee farming.
Just start small. Start with 1, 2, just learn the ropes. The closer to you, the better, because now you will make the time to see it. If it's far, maybe 3 hours away, how often will you? So just learn. And from there, then you can expand. I think that's the best way to get inspired, become an expert, or, you know, in your own right. So start small.
Okay. Yes. All right. Thank you both so much for that fantastic insight, for just participating in this green movement that I think a lot of us need to jump on board and do. So thank you for doing that, and just for sharing your thoughts.
And be sure to stick around for the Watch to Win. Today we have 3 fantastic things. So number 1, you can get the honey. You have a chance to win the honey. Number 2, you have a chance to get your own personalized pair of jeans. There's a special thing that we're doing today. And thirdly, you can be super stylish in the Sayari pants by Zura by Zawadi, which, you know, we'll have some pictures of. So you're going to be just absolutely set. Be sure to stick around and answer all the trivia questions for your chance to win.
What? I want to win one. Great. And as always, thank you so much for watching the Moms Village Show. Keep talking to us and commenting. And remember, it takes a village.
It takes a village.
Bye,
Yes,
everyone.
bye.